I would literally take my tripod out on the streets of London. I got paid $50 and I was like, this is so cool. You have to be posting engaging content every day. And if you're not, then the algorithm is just going to get the best of you. If you want to have unlimited potential in your life, this barrier has to go. Just because you have a following on Instagram doesn't even mean you're making money.
Some of the most amazing love and support I've received has been from women, and some of the most vicious hate.
Everything's out to get me, like the world hates me. That's like a lot of people's mentality when they're looking at social media. Switching your brain and like rewiring your brain to be like, no, the world loves me.
Allow me to introduce you to this week's CATAMANIA guest, Ms. Danielle Lozanis.
Thanks for having me.
I totally knew your last name. It just took me a minute.
You just forgot in the moment.
I forgot in the moment. Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
A wonderful content creator who I have met just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Pretty much not as soon as you landed in Vancouver, but fairly shortly after.
Yeah, it was like, what, a weekend? You were like, are you in Vancouver? And I was like, yeah, are you? And then boom.
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 Yeah.
No, that message made me really happy because I had no friends when I moved here. So
you've been traveling around quite a bit, right? For the past
oh my gosh,
few years.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Well, I was living in the UK and then moved back to Canada. And my boyfriend is very nomadic. So the both of us, we have just been traveling like what it feels like for years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're originally from Toronto, right?
Mm-hmm. Toronto and Scarborough. If anyone listening is from Scarborough, representing.
Even I know about Scarborough.
Wait, really?
Even though
What do you know
I've
about
been
it?
to Toronto, just the name of the neighborhood.
Okay.
I know Yorkville.
Oh,
And I have
of course
to say
you do.
Yorkville because I've been to Yorkville once.
Yeah.
I know Yonge and Dundas. And I know Scarborough for whatever reason.
Oh, interesting.
That's pretty much. Oh, and North York.
Okay.
There's like a hair in my sparkling
in
water.
your Perrier.
In my Perrier. We are
Perrier.
not sponsored by Perrier. But, but I feel like I did a very short introduction because we launched straight into it. But I would like to please request for those of you who are listening to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Share this episode with a friend. Do all the things you need to do that I'm very appreciative of to help this podcast grow. And I want to hear it. I want to hear about your life story. She was born and raised in Toronto.
I'm just like, love how we're like, we have intense eye connection right now. Do you feel that? It's very intense. It's like, no,
Is it too much?
No, I love it. I love it.
I've had moments sometimes with people when it's like, when it's like too much eye contact. Eye contact is really important.
And you know it is
but,
important. But
sometimes like okay. People who, for whatever reason, the only way they can like talk to you is if they're like right here.
Oh my God, those people are
and then they
so
look into your
intense.
eyes and I'm like, and then you move away from them, then they move closer and closer and you're like, bro.
You're like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is good. No, this is good. But back to your question. What did you ask?
Before we
My life story. My
life.
life story. How far back do you want to know?
So you and I, chatted off camera. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish there was like a camera following me around because some of the conversations that I have with people off the recording, I'm like, can we save this for the recording? But then, you have to have them. How did you get into fashion and social media? And what was your journey? You grew up in Toronto. I know you're half Eastern European.
Mm-hmm.
Established that.
Yeah.
How did you, what was your career journey and how did you decide to get into fashion on social media?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely got into this career like later in my life. Like I think some girls do it when they're in their teens or whatever. But for me, like, I don't know, I just had the same, I don't know, mindset as like everyone else who grows up in Toronto. Like you go to university, you get a job, and then you like work for your rest of your life, and then you travel when you're 60. And it's like, for me, I was like, why are people doing this? Like it, like it just makes no sense for me. And I don't know, I've always had an interest in fashion. Like I remember in high school, me and my friends would dress up as like literally like little Gossip Girl crew. Like we would wear like
Gossip
the
Girl.
blazers and like the skirts and like the tights and like
You were a Gossip Girl?
no.
No?
I was actually a nerd. Yeah, but I was a
Did you
part of
watch
like so
Gossip
many.
Girl?
I did watch Gossip Girl, so we like loved it. But I was a complete nerd in like high school. But then after university, I was like working a sales job. Well, actually, I worked multiple sales jobs, so I think that really helped me like get out of my shell and like I don't know, just being in sales is like I think a really good career. But then I got really bored of it. And all these girls on social media, and I'm not even kidding, like I just fell in love with the Parisian vibe. Like I can't even describe it. There were all these girls popping up, I don't know, maybe like 7, 8 years ago. And like, let's say like 2018, 2019. And I was like, oh my gosh, these girls, like they're so like Parisian. Like I've always wanted to live in Paris. And I got so inspired by that lifestyle. So for me, I was like, I really want to do this one day. And I remember I started posting, I don't know, this is like back in 2019, I think. And I started posting.
That was like before stories even existed on Instagram, I think.
I think stories was a thing.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I wasn't on there yet.
It was. And I remember this girl that I followed, and her name's Constance. I actually met her. This is like so funny, but I met her when I was in Spain recently because we're managed by the same like talent manager. And it was so funny. She was actually one of the girls that I was like super inspired by. And I remember she hit like 3,000 followers. And I was like, oh my God, like having 3,000 followers is crazy. And like, I was so inspired by her because she was just this like beautiful girl, just posting the very like romantic aesthetic content. And she was actually one of the first people that I was like, like I feel very inspired by this person. So later on, so like a few years later, COVID hits. I'm working as a tech sales rep. So I was working as an account executive at like one of Canada's biggest tech companies. And I ended up getting relocated to the UK. So it was supposed to be like originally for only 6 months. And I was with my boyfriend and he like didn't want to move to London, which is like a whole nother like rabbit hole we can go down after. And I remember like when I moved to London, I felt so inspired because I was like, oh my gosh, like now I'm one of these girls in Europe, like the girls that I follow on Instagram. And anyways, I just started posting my outfits and I just like ended up gaining a following from that. And this is when Reels actually started becoming like a new feature on Instagram back in like 2021. So I remember I posted Reels and Reels and Reels and like of me traveling in Europe and like of my outfits and my London life. And yeah, I guess it stuck. And that's how I kind of got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made your own interest and your own passion into, you translated it online basically and it resonated with people.
Yeah, exactly.
I know about your move to London, but tell me a little bit more about it. How did you like living there? Because you just came back recently straight from London. Was it or no?
Well, I was traveling. I was visiting friends this year. But yeah, like I initially got sent on a work assignment to start a team in the UK. And that was supposed to be for 6 months. And this is when like COVID was in its weird, I don't even want to talk about COVID right now because it's so like in the past.
Yeah.
But this is when like the UK was under like strict lockdowns and I like moved there in quarantine. Lockdown just ended and I was like, oh my gosh, I have no friends. Like I'm in this like new place, this new city I've never been to before. But I instantly fell in love. It was so much fun. And then I guess I was performing really well at work. So they wanted to continue and start a new team for me based in London. So I ended up staying there for 3 years. But I did like ended up getting a following on Instagram. I was starting to get like paid. And then I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to quit my job.
Yeah.
And then I just stayed in the UK for a little bit longer, up until last April.
Okay. How hard was it to start monetizing what you were doing online? Because that's the biggest question people have is like, people think that you just start monetizing right away or it's super easy. What was it like for you? Especially coming to a point where you were like, I can actually quit my job.
Well, it was so funny. I think Looking back on it, I definitely quit my job way too early. Like way
Which is the same freaking thing.
way too
I was
early.
like, why did I do this?
I know, but I think it's like, again, like we see these influencers, we see these girls online being like, yeah, I quit my 9-to-5 job, best decision ever. And then they're like traveling the world with like a bunch of brands and they're getting paid or whatever. But like, I want to be really realistic with everyone. Like, okay, some girls, if they're crushing it, can do that. But not everyone is doing that. Like just because you have a following on Instagram doesn't even mean you're making money. So I think that's like a very big reality for a lot of people. But I remember my first job, like paid job, I think I had like 1,000 followers and like they paid like $50. It was for a beauty brand that was like pushing really hard with like micro influencers at the time. And I got paid $50 and I was like, this is so cool. I just really wanted to know, like, get some free makeup or get free clothes out of this. And I'm like, I got $50. And then like when I hit, I would say around like between like the 50 to like 80K, that's when brands really noticed me. And they were like, in my inbox, they were like, hey, can we pay you? And I was like, I don't even know like what to charge. Like, what do people even charge, right? So I had to like ask a few friends that I knew in the industry, like what they were charging. But I think to monetize your content, like you do have to be posting a lot of brands. Like I bought a lot of clothes and makeup and then I reposted it and brands then were like, oh, hey, like we want to do a partnership with you. So it is about the discoverability, but what you want to focus on is like if your content is going to relate to that brand, because brands will just not pay you. Like they'll just want to gift you forever. But you have to like start being serious and not accepting everything for free eventually.
Yeah.
So you got to put in a lot of groundwork. But then I quit my job and I was like, just expecting things to come in. And I was like, I'm like, what's going on right now? Like, I gotta go work for this. This is not gonna just like come to me. But I think it's like a different reality that people think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that niching down is advisable if your goal is to monetize faster? Because, you know, there's all this advice online. It's like you have to have a niche. If you don't have a niche, you're going to be all over the place. But then I've also heard people say, like, maybe expand your niche.
Right. I guess it depends. I think fashion, again, like it's fashion. Like if you have a very niche within fashion, you're not going to relate to every brand. Like let's say you're very, I don't know, like let's say you're super high end. Like I have a lot of girlfriends who have very beautiful aesthetic content, but they're wearing the most expensive clothes, the most expensive handbags, and like brands just simply can't relate to them because they're like, this girl is too aspirational, right? And then there's even been brands that have approached me and like my talent agency, but then I'm being pitched as like a girl like on their roster. And then they're like, oh, sorry, Danny's too chic. And it's like, yeah. I'm not even kidding. Like I've had feedback and I was like, I'm flattered.
But also,
I'm like, thank you. But
I never knew something like that. Yeah, it could be said in like kind of a negative way.
No, I know. No, that's what I mean. So
you're too chic.
No, but that's what I mean. Like in fashion, if you're too high end or maybe you're too casual, there's going to be so many brands. Like I think if you kind of mix in between and you commercialize a bit more, that's when you're going to see a lot of success. If your main mission is to, again, like monetize your page or whatever it may be.
And I mean, it takes a lot of work. Like, I feel like if you start social media and you don't inevitably turn it into a business, you kind of have to because it takes a lot of work.
Oh my God, it's so much work.
That's something that I want to zone in on as well and ask you, like, what does it take to? Because, you know, so many women will look at your page and be like, oh my gosh, like, I want to try to do that, right? But they don't realize actually how much it takes and what you need to do for that. But monetizing it's also, I think, because this is such a new industry, you know, like just a short, whatever, 10, 15 years ago, if you wanted to work in fashion, this wasn't really an option, you know what I mean, before social media. And now all of a sudden you can build your own brand, you can build your own presence and do your own thing. And then I always say to people, like, this is, in my view, the way I see it, this is like the most powerful marketing
oh my God, absolutely.
tool out there because people don't really watch TV anymore. People watch YouTube. And you know those ads on YouTube? You're like, who are these people? I don't even know them. Why is this ad popping up? But when you follow somebody, you establish trust between you and that content creator because you see what they do, you see what, their lifestyle is like, you see what products they use, and people get curious. They're like, oh, I wonder what products she uses. I'd like to see, I'd like to know. That's why it's so important for me always, and I'm sure it's the same for you. I will not advertise something that I'm not aligned with ever because people trust me. And if I do it strictly for the purposes of advertising, I'm going to lose that trust with them,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. That credibility just like goes away. And then people are like, oh, this girl's just pushing this ad. She's just doing whatever. I think at the beginning when you're trying to pay rent, there's been like a lot of girls, like I was like fully financially independent. There's like collabs that I look back on. I'm like, why did I ever wear that? Like, but that happens to every content creator like earlier in their career. This is like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But now I can say I'm like, I literally don't post anything that I don't like. Like I told my talent manager, she's like, oh, this supplement company wants to work with you. I'm like, oh, well, I can't swallow pills.
You can't swallow pills?
I can't swallow pills. I know, I'm like a 4-year-old. Yeah.
My
so
grandmother.
Only if they're really small.
My grandmother, I know we're starting with fashion. And
I know. Sorry, I'm going to go back to your question, I promise.
No. But this is actually because I have no problems swallowing pills. So for me, I love supplements, as you can tell. We've been talking about supplements all morning. Or well, after, before this recording. Yeah. But my grandmother had that problem. And whenever she had to take her medication, it was like a half-hour-long torture.
Oh, yeah. You got to like crush it. No, I'm not even going to get into like what I do, you guys. It's like annoying. But yeah, so a supplement company reached out and I was like, Danny can't even work with you. She would love to, but she's not going to like crush the supplement on her video. And then, do you know what I mean? Like it would just be so inauthentic if I wasn't taking the supplement. So now I'm just like.
So you have to take like drops and stuff if you take supplements? Or?
I don't really take any supplements if I'm being honest, but I take like, let's say I have to like take medication, I'll just like crush it and I'll just drink juice and then I'll just chug it back. It's like disgusting. My boyfriend looks at me. He's like, can you just learn? Like every single time I crush a pill, he's like, can you just learn now? I'm like, no, I refuse. But it's really funny. But back to your question about what it takes to be a content creator. Is that what you asked originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll break it down. I started doing a little bit of fashion as well.
I know you have.
You know why? Because I was like, I like to dress up. I put clothes on every day.
Do you?
People ask. Yeah. Believe
she
it or
does.
not.
She wears clothes.
I live in a building that that has like there's other windows facing me. Yeah. So even at home, I feel like to be a decent citizen.
Gotta wear clothes. Yeah.
So and people ask like, oh, where did you get this blazer? Where'd you get that, piece of clothing? And I'm like, you know what? Like, why don't I try to incorporate that into my content? Because people want to know anyway. And that's something that I love already. Yeah. And just like we were talking about earlier, like you started sharing what you were already doing and what you already have a passion for. I feel like when you do that, when you share something that you are passionate about, people get interested in it,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I think, again, it's all about that credibility thing. It's like, you're not going to be putting on something that you don't like because that would be inauthentic to you. Like you have a very like specific style, even though, yes, you're like a comedian online, but of course, like people are going to be like, what makeup are you wearing? What is your lip color? Like I saw someone was like, where do you get your teeth whitened? Or like, you know what I mean? Like people are genuinely wondering. And also like, what are you wearing? Yeah. Like that's going to be like the biggest thing because people just want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
But going back to your question, finally, I feel like we keep going.
I know.
Like this. But it's so funny. So when I started doing content, like I was living in London by myself and I was like I was very like personally interested in like street style girls. So I wanted to like shoot on the streets, like see outfits in motion. That was like the type of vibe that I was going for. And again, not everyone needs to have that type of vibe, but I was like consuming that content. So I thought I wanted to be like one of those girls. So I would literally take my tripod out on the streets of London. I know what people are going to say if they listen to this. They'll be like, that's so dangerous. That's crazy because your phone can get
a question
snatched.
about London and because I hear horror stories, but that's
oh my
a whole
gosh.
other...
I hear them too, but I've never had an issue and I've lived there
Thank God.
for how many years? Yeah, thank goodness. Knock on wood for the next time that I go there. But I literally took my tripod out and I lived in Kensington. So it was a very safe area of Kensington as well. So I didn't think that some crazy person was gonna come out and grab my phone, but they could have if they drove by. But that's what I did. So I literally shot on my tripod multiple times.
By yourself?
By myself.
In front of other people?
In front of other people. There was DHL guys coming up to me. Oh, do you need help? And I'm like, no. Do you think I need help? I have my tripod.
But thank you.
Yeah, but thank you. And I think whenever I have a Q&A on my Instagram, a lot of people say oh, how do you shoot content? How do I get into it? And I'm like, take your tripod out. If there's no one to help you, that's a big barrier for I think a lot of girls too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But now we have I don't know, the Octo buddies on our phones. I know you have one, so you can stick that to a window or a mirror and that can act like a tripod. So there's newer ways that it's easier now. But literally you have to be posting every day. You have to be posting engaging content every day. And if you're not, then the algorithm is just going to get the best of you, unfortunately. So that's a big step towards it. But also, now that I'm thinking about it, it's okay, yes, all those actions make sense, but also you have to mentally want it. Do you know what I mean? You also have to manifest it for yourself in a way. And I think so a lot of people, when they start posting on social media, they'll just post and expect people to like their photo or engage with them. But it's no, you literally have to engage with other creators and comment and comment thoughtful things and follow people. And if you're not creating that community as well, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to get over your ego and get over people judging you for something you're putting online. And it's that once you get over that, oh my gosh, things are just gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Do you gain more engagement in a following once you let go of that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Because you're not really worrying about what people think about you anymore. It's kind of
I'm going to ask you a loaded question.
Oh.
How do you get rid of that? First, I want to know your tips on how to get rid of that barrier that people have with shooting your own content by yourself outside, getting a tripod. Even to me, to be honest with you, as much as I'm I don't care about what people think, but to go out in public and shoot by myself, I'm still I do it. I'll do it. But it's a huge step out of my comfort zone every time because I definitely look around and I'm oh, people are going to, the way I think of it is people are going to look at me and be oh my God, another influencer. And then I'm yeah. So what?
But you are.
I am. Exactly. What's so
you
there's
are,
these thoughts that creep up that are completely illegitimate and completely just limiting. And it's yeah, I am. And I'm actually doing something cool and I love what I do, you know? So, but there's a huge barrier, especially in the beginning when you start. How do you get past that?
So this barrier, again, it's completely invisible. It's a mental block. You have to want something so bad. Do you know what I mean? If you want to be a content creator so bad, this is the only way that it's going to happen. If you want to have unlimited potential in your life, this barrier has to go. So I think that's what I told myself. I used to be, I don't know, a judgy person. I used to, I think a lot of us go through a phase where it's oh, I don't feel liking this girl's photo because she's traveling and I'm not. There's that has come across people's brains, even if you don't want to admit it. I'm admitting it right now because that's definitely come across my brain. This is, again, years and years and years ago. But you kind of sit there and you realize, or you think about it, you're oh, everything's out to get me. The world hates me. That's a lot of people's mentality when they're looking at social media. But it's switching your brain and rewiring your brain to be no, the world loves me. I love people. And again, you're putting these positive thoughts into your brain and that's also going to help your ego get away. And it's going to help with this barrier. So I think it's just being positive is going to be a huge aspect in that. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest, that was me years ago. I don't know, when I was getting inspired by these Parisian girls that I was saying, I was like, but I'm not one of them, but that's what everyone thinks at one point because they want to be, but they don't know how.
Yeah.
But it's like, that is the first step. It's like just getting over your ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting over your ego and finding inspiration instead of
totally.
I'm not one of them, but I really want to be, like approaching it from a different perspective. And none of us are taught how to do that.
No.
I have a good friend, she lives in LA, Nicole Benham, and she posts like the most thoughtful things and thought-provoking things, I should say. So she recently posted this thing that I really like. I make it a point whenever I see somebody doing something that like I want to do, or they've succeeded in the area that I really aspire to succeed in, I make it a point to stop and be like, I'm really happy for this person.
Yes,
I actually genuinely am. How did they do it? Like approach it from curiosity. So Nicole recently posted how like none of us are taught to do that. None of us are taught to practice being happy for other people.
So true.
But the more we practice it and the happier we are for others, the more that muscle just gets trained and the more you end up attracting to yourself, really. Because when you're in the space of like kind of jealousy or this like, but that's not me, the more limitations you put on yourself, really. Because that's all it does is just put up a barrier between you and your own success, your own good, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's that ego. It's that turn the jealousy into inspiration or turn your jealousy into like something super positive, because all that negative energy, like think about jealousy as like an energy that is so negative. Like
it's like a cloud of,
it's like a cloud, and like you sometimes can't get out of it. But then it's like, wait, this person is crushing it. I want to learn from them. I want to know how they got there. And I want to support them, because if I put that energy out in the world, I'm going to get that back. And once people figure that out, then you can be successful at anything.
Yeah.
So
the more love you give, the more love you receive.
Exactly.
And if you don't receive love, then you can deal with it Eastern European way.
I was like, her accent is coming out.
Just you force them into loving you. Well, you and I were talking off recording about how, and something I'm curious to know as well, because you're in the space of, and you have been in the space of fashion since pretty much you started on your social media. Have you experienced any jealousy yourself? Like maybe events that you have gone to? Because you and I were talking about how like people get intimidated by people.
Yeah.
And especially with women. Like some of the most amazing love and support I've received has been from women.
Yeah.
And some of the most vicious hate has been also from women, you know?
It's crazy.
So it's like, you never know. But the more love you give, the more love you... Like I can genuinely say that I've met in the last, however many years since I started doing this, so many phenomenal women who are just like, they're just pure. And all they want is for you to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's like this beautiful, synergy of, I want you to succeed. And by me wanting you to succeed, I'll succeed. And it's,
Yeah.
But have you gotten any like negativity since you started from...
I would honestly say like my Instagram, like I don't post controversial stuff, like kind of not saying that you're controversial, but I'm saying like, comedy's more controversial, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think fashion, like it's so innocent, right? It's just like, okay, I post my outfits. I maybe put like a little humor to it at the end of the day, but I don't have people like, especially on my Instagram, like I never really get hate comments. Like I obviously get the odd creepy guy, but like just block or delete those people. And then in my DMs, again, it's not really anything like controversial, like hate, like provoking. So I think I'm very lucky in that way. I think on TikTok, on the other hand, I don't know what happens on TikTok, but people are savage. I don't know who,
I agree with
but
you.
Like this is why I don't even really post on TikTok. And it's not because of the comments, like I don't even have like that large of a following on TikTok, but if a video goes viral for whatever reason, people go at each other in the comments. Not even to me. They go at each other. And you're like, why are you doing this? Like, do you have nothing better to do with your time? And it's true.
That's
they
exactly
don't.
it.
That's literally what it is. But this is why I think TikTok is just so much more toxic. And like, I love posting on Instagram. It's like my main platform. I'm always going to be like an Instagram first girl. But yeah, I think TikTok, you're just like I'll just post a random event with the brand and then this person will just have something to say about the brand that's negative. And I'm like, I'd have how many followers on Instagram compared to my TikTok? And no one's commented that. Like, I don't even see those comments. It's
People
just
on
so
TikTok,
weird.
I agree with you. I've experienced that as well. So I
don't
stopped
get
reading comments
it.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't respond to them. I'm like, I don't even care about the community building aspect of it. I do that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Same. People are like vicious. Well, sometimes
It's
I
so
wonder
weird.
if it's even people. Because have you
Yeah.
seen those videos of like bot farms or whatever?
Right. It's crazy.
That's like a whole area
Yeah,
that
we're
I
not
don't
getting
even
into
know
that.
if
Yeah.
I want to know about. But then you wonder, it's like, well, like, who is it? I'm sure some of it is also like humans actually commenting. But you're right. Sometimes you go in and it's like people are at each other's throats in the comments. I have that on Instagram, but on Instagram it is different. I agree with you. There's less of like this ruthlessness in the comments.
People sometimes say, oh, sorry. Like they'll respond like, oh, sorry, I understand what you meant. And you're like, oh, okay. You just resolved, you just resolved your own issue.
Yeah.
That's great. But in TikTok, no, that never happens.
And you know, part of it I feel like is because you don't have to show your face necessarily. You don't even have to use your real name. So you just have this screen and you can lash out at whoever you want. I definitely have gotten my fair share of hate because I don't want to say you have to make comedy controversial, but the funniest stuff is usually some form of poking at something that is like slightly contentious or thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Like whenever I post anything related to like traditional dating values or like not splitting the bills at restaurants, sometimes I'm like, I've talked about this on so many occasions. And
so funny.
Still, whenever I post anything related to that, something to like about dating, relationships, it's like all these people just fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm like,
because they have an opinion, right? It's like all these people have an opinion that is maybe clashing with your opinion, but it's a funny, like you're just making fun of it.
Yeah.
And I think people just get really offended nowadays. But yeah.
You know what I try to do also? Like it's a challenging thing sometimes because your first reaction, like if you get a hateful comment, is to like, you know, respond. But if you respond with a loving comment or like literally just send a heart,
it's even better.
That's it.
Yeah.
You neutralized it. There's no power in that comment.
Yeah.
You know?
You can even say you're right. And then they'd be like, oh, like they would, they'd be like, wait, what? Like she's not going to like say something. Yeah.
People are crazy.
I know.
People are crazy. And I think social media with all its benefits, which like I'm same as you. I love Instagram, I think the most. But I feel like people on social media, because they don't have consequences per se for what they're posting or what they're commenting on, they just go all out.
Totally.
They unleash their crazy to the max.
They're all crazy. I'm just kidding.
You know the day in life videos? Like day in my life?
Oh, yeah.
What's a day in your life when it comes to crafting content? And how often do you shoot? Like, what is the actual back end of what you do?
Like the BTS.
The BTS, yeah. All the outfits and all the looks that you put together. What is how or what is your day looking like? Or weeks, I should say, even. Like, do you do it on one day? Do you batch record? Or do you do it as an inspiration comes, let's say?
I feel like, honestly, every single day of my life is different. And I'm really grateful for that. Like today, I'm here, you know, like that's what I'm doing today. This is like the main thing. Some days I will be, like my manager. So I have a talent manager for like people who don't really know how it works, but I have a talent manager who negotiates brand deals on my behalf, or she communicates with the brands on my behalf.
And is that something that is pretty much always the case?
Yeah.
Or can you, because you're with an agency, right?
Yeah, with an agency. So she was like an independent agent before, and then she started her own agency. So brands, like, you know how it works. Like brands will like email me, or she'll be emailing brands. And then that's how like I get either my paid work for me to post on my Instagram, or I'll do like UGC content. So some content I don't even have to post on my Instagram and I'm still monetizing that. Or it could be just a various like different things like that.
And for people who are listening, just so that like they know, you either go through an agency basically, it's usually how it works, or you keep it in-house. You can, if you have the ability, resources / whatever arrangement,
Totally.
you can keep stuff in-house and not go through an agency.
Yeah.
But I feel like almost every influencer I know either has gone down one path and then the other, or like it's very rare that it's only one or only the other.
Yeah.
But it happens. I've never gone through an agency, actually.
Oh, interesting. Yes, because you're with an independent kind of like agent. And yeah, like I worked with another agency before and it like was not working out. Like I had everything coming inbound, but they were like charging more. And it was like very weird anyways. So when
it's usually a percentage that goes to them,
it's
right?
a percentage that they take.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually like independent agents I feel like would maybe take a little bit less. Larger agencies for some reason, because they think they can bring you a lot more deals inwards, they'll charge more sometimes. So it really depends. Yeah. Wait, what was the question?
Yours and mine conversations. I love it. I love it when the conversation starts with one thing and then
my day in life.
I guess the back end of what it takes to do what you do.
Yeah. So I don't tripod shoot outside anymore.
You don't tripod shoot anymore?
Inside I do, but not outside. So yeah, like honestly, every day is different. So I would say like, yeah, my talent manager is in the background. She's sending me things. She'll be like, okay, Danny, like we have all these campaigns coming up. I need your looks for XYZ. I'll be searching maybe like for a few hours a day, like finding the looks or styling looks or coming up with also creative briefs for brands because they want to know in advance that you're aligned on the creativity or like the creative aspect of what you're going to produce. So whether that's a reel or a post or if it's like UGC content, for them to use specifically. So I'll probably do that at least some point of every day, or if not every other day, depends how busy that month is. And then I would say like I'm usually shooting every day. It depends like what I feel like. It depends when I do my hair and makeup that day. Like honestly, it really just depends. Like I have to wait for good lighting. Like you can't just shoot when it's bad lighting when you're doing like beauty or fashion content. So that also plays like a big aspect in it. And then my boyfriend, like I'm so lucky that he's so good at taking my photos. Shout out to Mike. But like I'm so grateful.
So helpful?
No, I'm so grateful for him. And he also has like his professional camera. So like if we're working with hotels or something, you know, like that needs more of a production, we'll use his camera for that. Or we'll just like iPhone shoot. And I used to have an intern actually in Toronto and he was amazing. Like he would help me come up with like the ideas for content and then he would help me shoot them. So also if any Vancouver people are watching this, I'm gonna like just put it out there. I am hiring someone. So this is my advertisement to find someone based in Vancouver
for the position.
Yeah. So I would say like every day is different. Or there's also events that I go to. For example, like I hosted that event last week that you came to, which I was super happy about. And that was a success. So yeah, it's kind of like all over the place, my schedule.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that I have the flexibility to have that. And then I also have like a lot of free time outside of that. Yeah.
It's the same for me. I would say I try to be more structured with my approach, especially when I have like peaks of creativity. When I have peaks of creativity, I try to like maximize the output and film as much as I can. And I think that a lot of times people think that like whenever you have inspiration is when you shoot. But very often the way it is for me is I will kind of force myself to sit down and be like, okay, let's write something or let's come up with ideas. Let's put an outfit together. I have to very often just force myself to do it, even when I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. Do you put in your calendar though? Because like that's my issue. Like I don't ever have like anything in my calendar. Like I'll just be like, I'll wake up and I'll see where the wind takes me that day. And like I wish I had more structure to it. But like, how do you do it? I need advice.
I'll have a couple of days in the week when like usually Tuesdays and like Thursdays I'll leave for like content shooting. Obviously if if I have something for a brand coming out, like if I have a brand deal on a certain day, I know that, 3 days before that I'm supposed to send them the draft. So then, 24 hours before that, the content needs to be shot. And then I'll think of an idea, draft it, film it, send it. So that brings a lot of structure as well as just having those scheduled campaigns go out. So then you know like where to work from. Date wise, but I try to implement the structure. It's kind of hard with creative work though, because what we do is creative, right?
Exactly.
And if you're feeling uninspired,
then it's not
well, then you're uninspired. You're not gonna, the energy that you're gonna bring to it is not gonna be good. So it's a balance between, I'm feeling uninspired, but this is my job. This is what I do full time.
Yeah.
So
gotta get over it.
I go full Eastern European on myself, to be honest with you.
You need to like slap your wrist.
I'm like, get up and film. And I will say that like very often when I have that, I love sparkling water so much.
I know, I can tell.
Oh, it's the best. It's like so refreshing, especially that it's warm out. But I find that I will, when I start filming stuff, even if I was feeling uninspired earlier, I will get the energy.
Okay.
And I will be like, oh, okay.
That's good.
I don't know, like do you find that being on camera gives you energy?
Yeah, it really depends on the day. Like there's obviously some days where I'm like, no, like I've stacked enough content. Like I shoot a lot of outfits when I go out shooting usually. Like if someone's helping me. So I'll just like have a week's worth of content like on Monday. And then I don't have to actually shoot that week. But then now I think I'm being more intentional with my content. And I want it to be like, how do I describe it? Like I want it to be more relatable content, but I also want it to be like more like eye-catching. So sometimes when I'm just stacking content, I'm just like rushing. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to rush the process sometimes. So now I'm thinking, okay, how can I be more intentional with how I'm shooting? And yeah, sometimes all it takes is putting on some makeup, doing my hair, and then I'm like, okay, like I'm ready now. And I get like some kind of inspiration from that. But it is hard sometimes. Like to continuously be creative all the time, people don't understand. Like it is not easy. And especially I feel like what you do, you're writing a lot of scripts, I'm assuming, or you're kind of planning what you're going to say in advance. I'm not necessarily doing that on every video. Like I won't be talking on every video, but you really have to like think of a topic. How am I going to say this? You know, like it must be a lot of work.
Yeah. And sometimes like I struggle with wanting it to be organic and natural, and then sometimes just not being able to speak English in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll start recording and then I'm like, well, that was a failure. And then you redo and redo and redo. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I did it too many times. Now it doesn't sound organic and natural. But then I'm like, but it's a scripted video.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
And none of us know that. Like you're probably gonna critique your own work like all of us think probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
But you know what I noticed is the videos that I usually put the least amount of effort into in terms of like
the best.
Yeah. The videos
kind of annoying.
Like, in the moment and I turn on the camera and I say something, they'll go viral.
Yeah.
And so viral that I'm like, really? That?
So random.
Damn. Yeah, it can be very random.
Yeah.
But regarding the point that you made that people don't really know what it takes, I so agree with that, because you mentioned in the beginning of our conversation that you need to post every single day.
Yeah, you do.
And so many people say like, oh, it's not working. I'm posting and it's not working. I'm like, well, obviously there could be several reasons why that is. But you kind of need to show up every day.
You do. And it's not even just posting every day. Remember, it's engaging with other creators, following them, commenting, liking, engaging back on comments on yours. And like, I am not even kidding, the amount of hours I've studied the frickin' like Instagram algorithm starting out, like
which
years
is, by the way,
ago.
Constantly changing.
Oh my God, it's constantly
changing.
Just
as you think you know what's going on, you're like, oh, I know.
I know. Like as soon as your engagement is like at its peak, boom. Literally the next day you're like, why did no one see this? Like it makes no sense. It's so annoying. But again, like people don't realize that you have to research it. You have to know what's changing. You have to know Instagram or TikTok, like their new features that they're pushing in order for you to actually like be successful in it. And I think, I think there's a lot of girls who are like, oh, like I've been trying it for years. And again, I totally get that. It's so frustrating. Like it is so frustrating, but it is like a strategy and you have to stick with the strategy, but also you do have to produce engaging content. People aren't just going to like everything for the sake of liking, or people are just not following people like they used to. They already have thousands of people that they follow. So why do they need to have another creator? Like you have to like stand out. And that's been part of the niche that we were talking about before. Like you do have to have a niche, but also be relatable. I think a lot of people want relatable content now. And in fashion, sometimes that can be a little bit hard. But I think that's like how I'm trying to move my content in that direction, because that's what people are hooked by and people want to follow me because of that now. Like before, I think it was a different story. I was kind of this girl in London and I was like traveling Europe, and I don't know, Canadians knew me as like the girl who left.
The girl who left
the cold. I thought that was really funny when I heard that from like girls that I met at events like in Toronto. They're like, "You're the girl who left." I'm like, oh my gosh, I love being branded like that. Like, we love it.
Well, especially when you move to Europe, right?
I know.
Because Europe has such a brand attached to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's like how my following grew. But then as a creator, you have to evolve. Like, you can't just be doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect people to like follow you. Like, you have to engage with them. You have to relate to them. And that's like the biggest thing going into this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What frustrates me the most lately is theft of intellectual property.
Oh my gosh, we talked about this. Oh my gosh, I actually saw a few videos that came up in my algorithm, I think, because like I'm engaging with your content so much more than I was before, obviously because we're friends, but like I'm getting other girls.
Some of them
are doing the exactly
same.
the same. Yeah, exactly.
And I entered a niche that was already there.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with a brand new like cultural comedy. There was a few creators that were getting really big at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that I like created a whole brand new niche. No. But series that I've created, I've put a lot of work into, and sometimes I'm like, oh, damn. And there's not much you can do about it.
No, there's not much you can do about it.
Because it's just the nature of, I guess, the industry, which is frustrating because if someone steals your song, you risk...
Exactly.
That person risks getting sued into the oblivion.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if you steal their... I don't know, script for something, like a movie script, it's going to be a loss and a half. But in this space, it's a little bit different.
I know, it's really weird.
I think it's getting figured out. And there's a fine line between like a trend and actual like, I'm impersonating you.
Yeah.
There's a difference, but it's a whole other conversation.
No.
I want to know how you, because, excuse me, you moved from Europe back to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of me that wants to ask you
why,
especially considering you wanted to live there. And how did you like living in Europe? Because I know you also had some experience in Paris after all.
Yeah.
So compared to Canada, you know, you've lived in Toronto and now you're in Vancouver, North America versus Europe. And what did you love about it? What did you not like about it maybe?
Yeah. There's so many things that I love about it. And I think like I romanticize Europe so much still. But after living in the UK, so I lived there for 3 years, and it is not perfect. Like, you guys, the rain is a thing, or not even the rain. It's like the clouds, like in the summertime. In Canada, it's beautiful. You get the sun. It's hot. It can be like 30 degrees. You're outside every day. And in London, okay, you might get like a few weeks of like a teasing summer. And then suddenly it's like you're wearing a trench coat in the middle of July. You like have no. So I think London's going through that right now. I'm looking at all my friends and they're like, nope, we're back into like fall weather. And I'm like, that is so crazy because it should be, it's like starting to get nice in Vancouver. Like it's just.
We might get a little bit of that, I think, next week, actually.
Maybe.
Because Vancouver will get, they call it January here.
Oh, really?
Where you will get a little bit like, it used to be like most of June. Now I think it's like a week or two.
Okay.
But I think we still get more sun on average than London.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here,
But
yeah.
that is a real thing. And also they do everything backwards. Like, I don't know, there's like
they
like
literally are on the other side of the road.
Oh my God, true. But also they do so many other things backwards. Like, I don't even know what it is. Like you go, okay, in Canada, North America, you go into your bathroom, you can do your hair because you have like a plug for your hair. The Brits don't think like that. They put shaving plugs for shavers for the men, not the women. So I think this is like very ridiculous that they still in like, I swear like new buildings still don't even have like plugs in their washrooms for hair dryers. So you have to like go on the floor and do your hair like, or like next to another plug. No, it's like things like that. You just are like, who thought of this like a gazillion years ago? And things haven't changed. Like, I don't know, some things I just don't understand about London. And also, like, living in Canada, we have access to the best grocery stores. Like, Loblaws has every single thing you could have, or like a Whole Foods. You go to like London, and there's like certain things that you just can't find. Like
I've heard
it's
about
like it's the weirdest thing. Like again, they have a lot of things, but they don't have the things that we're used to. Like salad dressings, I swear they have one type of salad dressing. They have like French dressing. Who the F eats
But Brits
French
are not
dressing?
known, with all due respect, Brits are not known for their cuisine.
No,
do you know what I mean?
but
Like
come
French cuisine,
on.
Italian, like there's a brand to it,
Or
right?
like French dressing out of like every other dressing. No, that was the weirdest thing. Maybe it's changed since I've been there. Please, but I don't know. Please, but like there's just weird things that I can't describe it. Yeah. So anyways, those are things that I don't like, but things that I love. So again, people always ask me like, what do I love about Europe and also London? And my biggest thing is that I want to feel like I'm living in a movie every single day of my life. Like that's how I tell people. I'm like, because that's how I'm like Delulu. Like that's
the main character energy.
I'm
that's
the main
whole
character.
Thing, right?
So if I want to have like all these amazing things and attract amazing opportunities in my life, I want to be the main character and I want to be living in a movie. And I get that feeling like every time I'm in London, I'm just like strutting the street. I see Prince William in his car. Like I'll like go to like a pub, like Brooklyn Beckham literally is taking his shirt off. And I'm like, what's going on right now? Like, again, it's like that energy like follows me, I think, like when I'm in Europe or London. So I don't know. I just feel very inspired when I'm there.
I know what you mean. I feel that way in US. I feel that way in US.
Interesting. Like where in the US?
LA.
Okay.
Actually, everywhere. I've been to Miami and LA. And I think maybe because of how many movies I've watched growing up, you know, like it would be
that's so cute.
An area that's not even that nice. And I'd be walking around being like, oh, it's LA.
Yeah.
Like you just
because
have that influence.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
you romanticize the place and it is about the vibe.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
But I agree with you. I definitely feel that way when I'm there. I walk out and I'm like, ooh, it feels like I'm in a movie.
Yeah. It's kind of nice. I know. And like I'll get aspects of that in like Vancouver. I just moved here. So everything, you know, is like so shiny and new for me. So like I'll just be walking around. I'm like, oh, the mountains. Like
it's gorgeous.
Like it's gorgeous, right? Like you're at Kitts Beach. Like the vibe there was like so different from like growing up in Toronto and the Toronto beaches. So again, like
whenever people from Toronto are like Toronto beaches, I'm like, please just stop.
Yeah, just like don't go there. But yeah, so I think I want to live every day like I'm in a movie, and I know I'm crazy for even saying that, and people can judge me, whatever, but that's how I feel. So I think it's the vibe really brings that out of me in the UK or in Europe. And I just love like the beauty of like Paris as an example. When I was living there for a bit, I rented out.
You were Danielle in Paris.
I was Danny in Paris. And if anyone knows, well, I guess you guys don't know, but my life is literally Emily's life and vice versa. Like now she's copying my life. And I'm like, who's writing this? Like who is someone like listening to me behind closed doors? Like literally, I'm not even kidding, like to a T. It's like, really? I think I need to do like another, like my own podcast series about this.
Girl, you're coming back about on my podcast.
Like we need to. Should we spill the tea? No, it's crazy. But anyway, so like living in Paris, like you just have beauty on every corner. Like you step out of your flat and you're just like, oh my gosh, everything is just so beautiful. Like
it's annoying how beautiful it is.
It's so
and
annoying.
Their language. Like I don't speak French, but they could be saying like,
don't even care what they say to me.
It is, you're just like, wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you look to your left and it's like this beautiful building that's been there since don't even know how long. And
exactly.
Anywhere you look, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as Canadians, again, like the Canadian people who are watching this, like you guys can relate to this because that's like all we ever wanted is like, oh, the European vacation, like to go there. So really living there, like I'm honestly so grateful. Wouldn't change a thing. Definitely recommend people to
try it.
Like try it or push out of your comfort zone. If there's a visa accessible to you, like make sure to try it if you can, if you have the means. So yeah.
I met somebody actually at a restaurant in West Vancouver here. He was a guy from Paris and he moved here for his wife.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first question I asked him.
That's really nice of him.
Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And he was saying like there's different, depending on what industry you're in, Canada can actually be better for like money making and in some areas cost of living He says Paris is very dependent on the area you're in.
Yeah.
Here it's crazy anywhere you are.
Yeah.
Like the cost of real estate is insane
Yeah,
anywhere you are. But he was saying like just for him it made sense because he's in the restaurant business and I was like, did it though?
The restaurant business. Paris is like, yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe he moved for love, and that's just
he moved for love.
He should have said, you know? Because I was like, both my husband and I were like scratching our heads. We're like, wait, restaurant industry, but
we
Paris
don't get it.
Yeah, and people here tend to say that like food in Paris is not good, and I'm like, I wonder if he stuck only to like the very touristy parts.
Oh, they definitely did.
Because it has amazing food, that city.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Every place we've been to. And like the little wine sizes or different sizes.
Wine.
I was there by myself. Well, I was there with my mom, but my mom was working. So I basically like had 4 days to myself in Paris. And I accidentally once ordered like a half a bottle of wine for myself.
Are you sure it was an accident?
It was an accident that turned out to be a good idea before going to Walmart. So I like
the very
had
hilly
lunch.
area.
I had lunch and I was like, well, I'm not gonna make it go to waste because I asked the server. I was like, I don't think I meant to order that much, and he's like, well, you already did, so you might as well.
Yeah,
like,
you can't return it. It's France.
He's like, he's like, where are you going now? And I'm like, Montmartre. He's like, have some. It'll be a beautiful experience.
Yeah, you'll walk it off in the hills. I actually lived in Montmartre when I was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
one of my favorite areas of Paris. It's so special.
It's so special. Yeah.
But it was very cute. I actually like rented out my flat in London because I couldn't afford like there's no way you can afford a flat in London and to live in Paris for like a month. So I like had to rent it out to this like random girl that I never met.
Like sublet it?
Like sublet it. And then, like I moved to Paris for a month just to say YOLO. Like I've always wanted to do this and this is the time. So that's when I did that.
Was it hard for you to make friends? Because you've traveled, so you've lived in so many places in the last few years. Is it hard for you to meet new people?
I don't know. I think I love meeting new people. Like I actually just really enjoy it. I think my boyfriend really brought that out of me because he has literally friends. Like he has someone's couch that he can sleep on in like, I swear, like every country. Like that man knows people everywhere. So I think he's really inspired me to also be like that, which is really nice. So for me, like, I don't know, like when I was in Paris as an example, it was also like fashion month. So a lot of girls were coming in that I like connected with over Instagram or met maybe previously that summer. And then I also had a friend do the exact same thing. Like unfortunately, like her and her boyfriend broke up. And then she was like, I need to get away. And she just was like, oh, I'm going to Paris for September. I'm like, oh, I was thinking of doing the same thing. I'll come. And then she's also a content creator. So it was just so nice because we had each other to like shoot our photos and like hang out with every day. Like we literally hung out, I think, every day for like 2.5 or 3 weeks. It was like really nice. So
a dream.
Yeah, it would have been such a different experience without her there. So that was like really nice having her. Yeah.
I love that. I think whoever said that like it's harder to meet friends when you're older, I don't know. I don't think they were thinking clearly. Or maybe they were.
I think it's easier.
I think it's way easier.
I think it's easier because you know who you are and you know how to disqualify and like qualify people. Like
exactly.
Like when you're older, like so I'm in my 30s, like you're almost in your 30s, right?
I'm 30.
Yeah, you're 30.
I'm there. We reached
she's
that
reached
new era.
But I think when you get to this phase in life, you are very like, okay, I just want to surround myself with people who understand me and who value me. And I want to be inspired by the people who I'm hanging out with and, you know, like who you vibe with.
You're a lot
like,
more selective.
You're a lot more selective, but also I think that brings in a lot more opportunity for like you to be more open to like meeting people and like understanding their vibe and like just getting to know them a bit better. And like asking the questions or like getting to know someone. Like you can probably tell within a first few times of like meeting someone if you're going to be like a long-term friend or a short-term friend.
Or if you should stay away from that person.
Or if you should just not be there.
Or if it's going to be, or if this person is like one of the best people you've ever met.
Exactly.
Like that intuition will tell you for sure.
Yeah. And again, like every girl has gone through losing friends over their life, which is so sad. But sometimes it is required to, you know, find the people that you genuinely vibe with. But I don't ever want to be like one of those types of people that has like a gazillion friends. Cause like, I think I have, yes, friends all over you can say, but I really just want to have my core people. Like if I have like 3, maybe 4 or 5 girlfriends in my life that are like of high quality. That's like more than enough for me. Like I just love having a close circle rather than like spreading too thin amongst like so many people that I don't want to spend my time with necessarily. But we learn that over time.
Energy. You learn that over. I think you learn that when you get closer to your 30s, and then once in your 30s, you really are like good with that.
Exactly.
Because spending time with people you don't want to spend time with just depletes you of energy.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually think it causes more harm than good, because you're just wasting your like literal energy on these conversations, and you're afraid of sharing a little too much or like saying the wrong thing, or you feel like their energy is bringing you down, so you're like trying to like put up a barrier so that like you don't get. It's just not a good idea when you can spend time with, and it's best for everybody if you spend time with people with whom you really want to spend time with. Who uplift you, who bring out the best in you. I just like reacted to. I do like reaction series on my podcast, and I just reacted to a video where I think it was Matthew McConaughey and like Chris Williamson, I think his name is. He's like a really big podcaster, and they were talking about how like good relationships, be that romantic or friendships, are supposed to, like your friends and your partner are supposed to bring out the best in you and push you to be the best version of yourself. So that's a good metric. Like if your friend, your partner is not doing that, maybe revisit, maybe reassess.
Yeah. It's a sign. It's a sign that, I don't know, you should always just feel so good after your interactions with people. Again, it's like an energy transfer, right? Like I'm giving you good vibes. Oh, you're giving me good vibes. And like, that's what people want to feel. They don't want to feel like, like you're like walking on eggshells. Like there's been some people that I met that it's like, again, like you don't know how to say things or like what you should say around them. And it's like, okay, like I just want to be myself. And I think it's like, if you be yourself and you feel good after your interaction with that person, then like you should continue that friendship or that path and like see where it goes when you're meeting new people.
You know what I heard?
What?
It's like when you, which is so true if you think about it, like that feeling that how do you feel after you interact with people? If the person is right for you, your body will literally feel like it's expanding. Like you'll feel open. And if it's not, you'll feel like your body is like closing, like your shoulders.
Interesting. Okay, so it's like a physical.
It's like a physical reaction in your body.
I've never heard of that.
When you spend time with someone and you feel so uplifted, you're just in such a good mood, and like your body's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Versus when you like closed down almost.
Yeah.
After
you don't want to feel like that.
No.
That's like the worst. That's like when I know I'm like, if I'm feeling anxious like after a situation or somewhere that I'm at, I'm like, this isn't for me. Like, you know,
it takes it's like a hangover afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, like it takes a minute to recover.
It does. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're almost at our time, believe it.
Oh my gosh,
or not. I know.
Wait, I'm having so much fun.
I know. I want to keep going. That's the worst part, I think, about my podcast is that it has to end in an hour. Like sometimes I'm like, you know, Joe Rogan, his podcasts go for like 4 hours.
Oh my God, I know. My boyfriend literally plays them on our like TV. And I'm like, just doing chores, and he's like, oh, this is so good, and he'll like put on a podcast. I'm like, what's going on? Like for 4 hours.
That guy's amazing. I mean,
how does he talk that long?
He's the
also it's so engaging.
It's
like
so
he's such a good listener.
engaging.
He's so good at asking questions. I feel like you're the next Joe Rogan female version.
Girl.
Anyways, I'm just gonna put that out there.
Thank you. Damn, that's like that's quite a compliment. He's the best, I think, in the game, and so engaging, and so like asks the right questions, but if you listen to him, he always talks about stuff he's interested in.
Oh, totally.
Again, going back to that, like I don't think like sometimes he'll be talking to a person who's like, I don't know, be like a political pundit, and he'll be like talking to them about UFOs. Like, you know what I mean? Because he loves that subject. He loves talking about that stuff. So there's something to it.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, because you know, this is something that people are interested in. And you and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but didn't go into details. How is the market different from Europe to North America? And how do you establish pricing for stuff? Because that's something that nobody really talks about that much. And it's so different from country to country. Okay. I know you and I talked about it in private a little bit more, but yeah.
No, that is such a good question. I think a lot of people are, like, so curious of how this works. But I'm just going to say it, like, a part of the big reason why I moved back to Canada was for love. And then also my career. But as a Canadian, so I think a lot of Canadian and North American brands want to work with like someone who's in the market. And when I was in the UK, as an example, it's so saturated there. It is so crazy. So think of me.
Lots of Canadians who move to live life in Europe, experience life in Europe.
Exactly. But there's like 1,000 brunette girls who look exactly like me, who have the same following. No, I'm not kidding. Like, like your face is like, no, but like it's true. I wasn't like I didn't stand out amongst like all these other girls because I don't know, they were British or they had like a higher British following than me. So I think that was like a big thing why I wanted to move back to Canada. That's okay. Why I wanted to move back to Canada is, like I wanted to see like how like my Canadian following would react to this and like also my content, how it would react to this and like how I can monetize it further in Canada. Because I heard that there's like way more budgets because you're also not even just working with Canadian brands, you're working with the US. Like there's a lot of crossover between them. So that was going to be a big thing. But I think in terms of pricing, to go to your second question, I don't know. I just rely on my manager for that. But there's a lot of deals. Like I still get a lot of brands coming in from Europe, still some from the UK that we still would price as an example, like in euros or pounds. So that's kind of nice because the Canadian dollar is bad compared to that or lower. God, so, seeing that conversion is nice. But here, I do think that there's actually bigger opportunity and bigger budgets for creators. And because there's so little of us, like there's how many fashion creators with X amount of followers in Vancouver as an example. And I think also even Vancouver, there's like a lot of potential for a lot of brands to work with.
That's very true. Like a lot of wellness, a lot of,
Yeah. But also like, again, like when we're talking about niches, fashion wellness or fashion beauty, like whatever it may be, like there's so many different opportunities that you can kind of go down that I think people think it's very just like one or the other. But no, you can kind of dabble into those.
You can dabble for sure. I mean, look at me. I'm dabbling into pretty much, I would say wellness is my main focus. Wellness, obviously humor. But I'm dabbling into style now too.
Yeah, we love it and we're here for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you can also even incorporate it into your current niche, like what you have. I always said this, comedy is really great for growth. It's not the best for monetization.
Right.
But also comedy is good for people relating to you in an easier way. And the more people relate to you, the easier it is for marketing purposes because people trust you. And again, like we mentioned, like I would never recommend something that I wouldn't use myself.
Yeah.
So people trust you.
Yeah.
But also just keeping it in comedy, I just like I'm not a stand-up comedian. I don't really have interest in doing that.
You could be, but
I've heard horror stories about stand-up. Like
it seems really hard.
Stories.
Like that is a very hard career.
It's just you and the microphone.
I know.
That's it.
So
like when you're a musician, you have like an instrument.
Yeah.
Even when you're a singer, like it's also just you and the microphone. But there's like your voice that you're using. With comedians, I have a friend who did stand-up. She's phenomenal at what she does. Shout out to Nicole Arbor. She's absolutely amazing. And I look at her and I'm like, I don't know if she does stand-up anymore, but she used to. And she's just like on the spot, she just generates jokes and just, like she could be like standing here and just like saying stuff that'll make everyone just like.
That's so impressive.
I have to script my stuff. Sometimes I say funny shit if I'm like not thinking about it, but.
No, you are.
But comedians have to like write them. They have to practice them. They get booed all the time, right?
Yeah. Because you're relying on other people's like audible like response to what you're doing, which is crazy.
And like
real
charisma has a lot to do with it. Like your personality, like how you say the joke, when you do the pun, like all of these. It's like it's very, very hard.
It's very strategic.
Yeah. I've never tried it. I've never even like I've thought about the concept of it, but I've never even tried to understand how it is.
It'd be so crazy.
But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, and then I feel like, if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking of maybe starting something online, I feel like whatever you're interested in, start sharing that.
Yeah.
Be that fashion, be that wellness, be that, and do it your own way. Put your own spin on it.
Yeah. It could be really anything. Like people can monetize so many different ways now. Like, I don't know, I just have so many ideas for like, okay, comedy, like what you're doing, like how you can like inject like fashion content more. Like there's a way for everyone to do it, whatever you're interested in. Just post about it, be excited about it, be enthusiastic.
Get that tripod out.
Get that tripod out, shoot on the street.
Shoot on a safe street so that
Very
your phone doesn't
safe.
get stolen. But get out of your comfort zone. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much. I honestly had the best time. So
likewise.
Let's do this again, hopefully, at some point.
Maybe, the whole Paris, Danny in Paris.
Oh my God.
I want to hear about it. Now we all need to know. We all need to know about Danny in Paris.
No, it's like a 5. Well, I feel like my whole life that summer
We'll go full
was
Joe
like,
Rogan on this. We'll go for a 4-hour podcast. We'll just make sure we book the studio way in advance.
Yeah, we'll have to book out like a lot of hours. But we'll see. Okay, well, I'm never going to say never.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. I will see you next week.